तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ जयन्ती मंगलकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवदात्री स्वाहा स्वदा नमोस्तुते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia.
Sairam Sharma, Sairam from New Zealand. Thank you, Swami, for giving Sharma and I this loving opportunity to share a very mysterious story that I witnessed in Kulwant Hall. Welcome to our listeners, wherever you may be. We send you our loving Sairams and are so grateful that you have taken the time to listen to our little stories. We love hearing your comments, and we are so happy that many of you are saying they look forward every day to hearing our little stories. Thank you, Swami. Om Sai Ram. Our story today is, and lesson I suppose, is the strange case of the vanishing Japamala. After Swami had seated me in the second arch, I knew that I had to simply sit and be quiet and not interact with chit-chat with any of the ladies in my section. That was one of the hard and fast rules, that you had to keep silence no matter what. However, not all the ladies in the section did that. And one lady who was very imposing looking, she was quite a portly lady, very elegant, very beautifully coiffed and in a sari, Western lady. She had 3 magnificent japamalas that she wore around her neck. And she let everyone know that Swami had materialized them for her. And they indeed were magnificent. The biggest one was quite long, and it had quite big crystals in it. I seem to remember it was a combination of crystals and Rudraksha beads. And then she had 2 smaller ones, which she said were her everyday ones. But she had all 3 of them on, and they looked magnificent. I can tell you, even sitting behind her, I was mesmerized by the workmanship on these japamalas. They were magnificent, as was everything that Swami created. However, one day, and all of us were in the habit of, once Swami had given the first round of darshan, and this is in Kulwant Hall, we had the opportunity to slip out the back way, or rather the front way, and run across to the South Indian canteen, where we could have a quick breakfast, maybe an idli and a cup of tea, just something quickly, and then we would run back inside, because you never knew when Swami would come out. But because we had to line up at a different time, much earlier than the other lines at the back, we were usually so hungry by the time Swami had done his first round. We had to get up very early for Omkar and that, and most of us had not really had much to eat, so we would run into the canteen and have something quickly, and then rush back. Leave our cushions. You had to leave your cushions on the spot there, and we were allowed to do this. Well, one day we all came back from our section. There was about 32 of us. There were just 2 lines of us in our section, and this lady had her cushion left behind, and she had apparently put the large japamala underneath it. Why on earth she would do that, I don't know, but the little area was actually really quite safe, and several of us did just leave some of our things, like our fan or maybe our little change purse, under our cushion. Well, her japamala was missing, and she was furious and terribly upset, crying, "What has happened to my japamala? Someone must have stolen it." And she's looking at all of us, and we're saying, "Mom, we weren't even here. We've been at breakfast." And she said, "Then someone from the lines has come and stolen it. They must have seen me putting it under my cushion, and they were waiting for me to leave, and now here I come back, and it is gone. I can't believe this." Well, she was waiting for Swami to come the next morning to tell him, and he ignored her, even though she had a front row. He had this way. He would come past you, and you thought, oh, he's looking at us, he's looking at us, he'd be looking at us. And then he'd suddenly, just as soon as he got in front of you, he'd swing his head and look the other way and wouldn't even turn around and look. And this is what he was doing. He was coming along the line, and looking at all of us, beaming, hand up and blessing. And then as soon as he got in front of this lady, he swung his head around and looked the other way. Well, this upset her even more, because obviously she'd had a number of interviews with him and, was very much blessed by him having these beautiful Japamalas. And this went on for 10 days. He ignored her. I mean, you couldn't. Where we were sitting, we were just at the entrance where Swami came in. He would come out from Yajur Mandir, come along a little covered walkway, and enter into the entrance there on the ladies' side. And we were right. We had a prime sort of view of him. Even if you were at the back, you still got a good view of him. And even if she wasn't in the very front row, she seemed to always be getting second row or third. And you couldn't, she was so beautifully dressed with her hair piled up, beautiful jewelry everywhere, earrings, rings, and that. Nope, he wouldn't give her the time of day, and she was terribly upset. She was hoping for an interview. I think she said to us, oh, maybe if Swami will call me in and he will materialize it or bring it back to wherever it has gone. But by the 10th day, she was very, very downcast, and she was sure that someone had stolen it and sold it in the village. This is where her mind had taken her, that whoever did this had stolen it. Well, we were all praying that she find it, because really she was creating quite a bit of discord in our area, and we are trying to concentrate on his darshan, but she is trembling and crying and wanting Swami's attention. It's very difficult when you've got someone in front of you and you feel so bad for them. They're so upset. Well, the most extraordinary thing, the next day she came to darshan and she is wearing the Japamala, and we broke the rules. We all said, oh my gosh, what happened? And she said, and she was a completely changed person. She was not all sort of bragging and showing off and, flashing her rings and, telling us stories about all the things Swami had made for her. She said, I cannot explain this, sisters. She said, I went back to my building. I believe it was one of the west buildings. She said, one of the Sevadals came running out with the Japamala in his hand. And he said, Madam, I believe this is yours. I said, yes, yes. How can it be? How did you know? Where did you find it? He said, Madam, I did not know anything about this. But, on one of the floors, there is a tiny altar to Swami. And Swami came in my dream and directed me to go and look on this little altar. And it is in a very dark hallway. There is nobody living nearby in those rooms. But there was this Japamala, and Swami in my dream said, a lady will come, you will show it to her, it belongs to her. And he said, I saw you, Mom, and I just knew that you were the owner of this Japamala. Please take it. Well, you can imagine this lady just burst into tears. How mysterious is this? No one will ever know. I think Swami was just maybe teaching her a lesson to maybe just keep that Japamala at home, for one thing, because sometimes these very ornate pieces of jewelry can arise jealousy and envy in some ladies' eyes. I've seen this happen before when ladies had beautiful rings and so on that Swami had given them, and they would talk about it in the darshan lines. You couldn't help but notice some of these pieces, and they would begin talking all about it. Now, that's not what you're supposed to do when you're in the mandir. You're supposed to keep quiet at all times, and your attention had to be on Swami. And those were Swami's rules, and those were Mata Betty's rules. So I took this to heart. I thought, even though if someone has the great blessing of having something given to them by Swami, he has given it to them for their own protection. He has not given it to them to show off and to make people think, oh, this person is very special. They are especially blessed by Swami. They must be very close to Swami. And sometimes I have seen people approach people who are wearing beautiful things from Swami and say, will you pray to Swami for me? And no, this would not be the way to go. There's nobody between Swami and you. So don't ever feel just because you see someone with a ring or something beautiful that Swami has made for them that they are any more closer to Swami. Swami once said, he said, no one is close to Swami. In other words, there are no levels of who is closer to him. All of us are his children. He loves us all without favor. And that's what it means to have Swami as our father and mother, our divine father and mother. He loves us all. He gives all of us his grace. He protects us all. And he corrects us all when we need a bit of correction. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Tasmat karunya bhavena rakcha rakcha Sai Ishvara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Sai Ishvara Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.